You expect glory? You get a shovel. That is the first joke the Roman army plays on you. And it is not the last. You are 17, maybe 20, standing in a recruitment line with boys from every corner of the province, and you have just sworn the sacramentum, an oath so binding that deserting it is treated as a crime against the gods themselves. Break it, and you are not just a runaway. You are an outlaw the entire empire is legally entitled to hunt down. Somewhere in your head is a picture of yourself in gleaming armor, cutting down barbarians while a crowd cheers. Instead, a centurion hands you a wooden stake, points at a patch of open ground, and tells you to start digging every single night for the next 25 years. Because that is the part the recruiting posters never mention. Before you fight anyone, you build every evening, no matter how far you march that day or how badly your legs are shaking. Your unit constructs an entire fortified camp from nothing. Trench, rampart, palisade, gates, the works, and every morning you tear it apart and carry the pieces with you to do it again somewhere else. Historians later joke that Rome didn't conquer the world with better swords. It conquered the world with better shovels. You are not a warrior yet. You are a very well-organized construction crew that occasionally gets to kill people. And the marching never stops. You carry your armor, your shield, your weapons, cooking gear, several days of rations, and the tools for that night's camp, well over 45 pounds strapped to your body, and you cover roughly 20 Roman miles a day, in sandals, on roads you may have helped pave last week with your own blistered hands. Your fellow soldiers have a nickname for themselves, Marius's mules. It is not affectionate. It is accurate, and by the end of your first year your shoulders will know exactly why. Here is the twist nobody warns you about before you sign up. You are legally not allowed to get married. Not discouraged. Forbidden by imperial decree for the majority of your service. Rome does not want soldiers distracted by wives and children when a general orders them to march into a forest full of screaming strangers. So your girlfriend back home either waits a quarter of a century for a man who might come home in pieces, or she moves on with her life. Most move on. You find out by letter, 3 provinces away, hands still raw from digging, and there is no leave granted for a broken heart. Discipline is the next layer of misery, and it is creative in the worst possible ways. Fall asleep on night watch, and you might face fustuarium. Your own comrades are ordered to beat you to death with clubs and stones, because letting the enemy sneak up on a sleeping camp is treated as a worse crime than dying yourself. Entire units that broke ranks and ran in battle could be decimated, lined up, split into groups of 10, and forced to draw lots, so that one man in every group of 10 is clubbed to death by the 9 men standing beside him. You did not even have to be the coward. You just had to be standing near one when the lots were drawn. Pay sounds better on paper than it feels in your hand. Rome deducts money straight from your salary for food, for replacement weapons, for boots, even for a burial fund in case you die, which, statistically, you very well might, and not always in the glorious way the statues promise. Dysentery kills more legionaries across the empire's history than any enemy sword ever managed. So does scurvy, on long campaigns without fresh food for months at a time. So does simple infection from a wound that would be nothing with modern medicine, and is everything out here, in a leather tent, with nothing but vinegar and prayer. If you survive the full 25 years, and a shocking number of men do not, Rome promises you a reward. Land, or a cash payment, plus citizenship if you served as an auxiliary rather than joining as a citizen-born legionary. It sounds generous right up until you actually receive the land, because land often means a patch of swamp, a rocky hillside nobody wanted, or freshly conquered territory where the locals are still furious about losing their homes to the empire you just spent your whole life fighting for. Congratulations, veteran. Here is your farm. It is surrounded by people who watched your legion burn their village. Battle itself, when it finally comes, is nothing like the disciplined drills on the parade ground. It is deafening. It smells like blood and smoke and unwashed fear. And you are packed shoulder to shoulder in formation with men on every side pressing forward whether your legs want to move or not. In testudo formation, you lock shields overhead and advance almost blind, trusting men you cannot even see to hold their position. Arrows thudding into the roof of shields above your head like hail battering a tin roof. One gap in that shell, one man who flinches or falls, and the whole formation can unravel in seconds, taking everyone inside it down with it. And even winning has a price nobody sings songs about. After a major battle, your unit might be ordered to finish off the enemy wounded lying in the mud around you, strip the dead for anything useful, weapons, coin, boots, and then start digging the night's camp anyway, because the ground does not care that you just watched your tentmate die. There is no leave granted for grief. There is a shovel, and a centurion, who wants the trench finished before dark. Promotion offers the one sliver of real hope in this entire arrangement. A sharp, disciplined soldier can rise to Optio, and eventually to centurion, commanding 80 men and finally earning real respect, along with pay several times higher than a common legionary's. But the climb is brutal and openly political. Favoritism decides more promotions than skill ever does, and the centurion's badge of authority, a twisted vine staff called the vitus, is also a weapon he is legally permitted to use on you for the smallest infraction. Marching too slow, talking back, dropping your pack in the mud. The very stick that represents rank literally doubles as the instrument of your punishment, which tells you everything about how this hierarchy actually works. Even your health outside of battle is a quiet, grinding war. Fresh water is not guaranteed on the march, so you drink what's available and hope. Skin infections fester under armor that never fully dries. Winters in northern provinces bring frostbite to men who grew up under Mediterranean sun, and were never issued clothing built for snow. None of this makes it into the songs either. The Empire remembers its victories. It rarely remembers the men who died shivering in a supply tent 3 days after the battle was already won. Food is another daily negotiation with misery. Most days it is hard textile bread and a grain porridge you cook yourself over a fire you also had to build, plus whatever bacon or cheese the supply lines managed to catch up with. Fresh meat is a rare celebration, not an expectation. When the supply train falls behind, and on long campaigns, it often does, rations shrink first, tempers shrink second, and men start eyeing the pack animals with an uncomfortable amount of interest. You learn to eat fast, eat whatever is in front of you, and never assume tomorrow's meal is guaranteed just because today's arrived. Then, there is the enemy you never see coming, your own command structure. Generals gamble with your life for reasons that have nothing to do with survival, and everything to do with political glory back in Rome. A commander eager for a Senate-approved triumph might push a battle you were never meant to win, simply because his career needs a victory more than your unit needs to live. You do not get a vote. You get an order, and orders in the Legion are not suggestions. Refusing one, in the field, in front of witnesses, can be treated the same as fleeing the battle itself. By your final years of service, if you have made it this far, you are a different creature entirely than the boy who swore that oath. You have marched across provinces whose names you can barely pronounce, buried friends in soil that will never bear their names, and learned that survival in the Legion has far less to do with courage than with luck, discipline, and an almost animal patience for suffering in silence. When discharge finally comes, there is no parade waiting for you. There is a bronze diploma certifying your service, a scrap of land you did not choose, and a body that aches in ways it will never stop aching, for the rest of whatever years you have left. You did not become a hero. You became infrastructure, one exhausted piece of the machine that built roads, walls, and an empire, one blistered mile at a time. And somewhere, carved onto a tombstone, you will never see yourself. Someone will one day chisel your name, your unit, and the number of years you served, as if a single number could ever hold everything a shovel, a scar, and 25 years actually took from you.